So, I've been thinking about making this video for a while now. And I I tried writing a script. I tried trying to make it, nicer, flow well, just make it overall just a more polished experience, I guess is the best way for you all to watch. And it was frustrating me just because I wasn't happy with what I was doing. So here we are. I don't have a script. I haven't thought through how I'm going to do this. And I've decided that with this video, it's just going to be me rambling for the next however long until I get my thoughts splugged out onto the internet. And we're going to go from there. So if you're here watching this, make sure do the YouTube things. I'm not even gonna bother waiting, just because I know the longer I procrastinate, I'm going to lose my train of thought, and no one's gonna be happy with that. So recently, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie came out, and I personally grew up with this franchise. The first game came out when I was in the fifth grade. Now here I am, a junior in college. The movie just came out, and I still love it. Now, I've seen a lot of people cover this franchise, cover the movie, cover the games, cover the books. I've talked about this with my friends a lot because we all grew up on it and we love it to this day. My friends and I went out and saw it day of release. And this was the first time that I truly felt like I got to be at the forefront for something before any of I saw any theories or anything, and before I had any solid idea of the plot, or before I even have any idea of what sequels will be like. But I started thinking and I made a couple of connections. So consider this me throwing my non-existent hat into the Five Nights at Freddy's theorist ring. I don't know how good this is gonna be. It's gonna be unorganized, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if everything I say gets disproven at some point. But I thought that my views might be a little unique, maybe. So, everyone knows in the movie, we follow Mike Schmidt and him getting the job at Freddy Fazbear's and him having the recurring dream where he's trying to figure out who kidnapped his brother. And, I mean, obviously, by the end of the movie, we learn, lo and behold, it was Purple Guy. Because, I mean, I don't know why I'm calling him Purple Guy, because he's not Purple Guy in the movie, he's just William Afton. Like I said, this isn't going to make sense. So, William Afton kidnaps Garrett when Mike is a child, and the movie never talks about it. Now, I don't know what the internet is actually saying about this movie. I still haven't seen any theories on it. And so because of that, I might be the only one who thinks this, but I think Garrett is going to be the puppet. The only real evidence I have to back this up is that William Afton kidnaps Garrett in his car, and the only other time that we see William Afton use his car when killing a kid is the murder of Charlie that causes her to become the puppet. And now, for me to really explain why I think this is, I have to explain my viewpoints on how I see the movie. Now, I see this movie as Scott Cawthon's perfect telling of the story. It's not meant to be a retelling of the games, and it's not meant to be a retelling of the books. It's not meant to be the same story as either of those. It's meant to be just essentially another continuity set within the FNAF universe, and the way that Scott can finally tell the story that he started in FNAF 1, but finally knowing where the story goes. You can see this in that, in the games, you've got Michael Afton, who's your security guard in a majority of the games, and he's the good guy. He's the security guard. And then you've got Mike Schmidt, which is another name that Mike Afton used in the games. So there's a one parallel besides just being a Mike who's a security guard. Then you've got Vanessa in the games. That's a security guard that is working for William Afton and is possessed by him. I don't really know. Security Breach, I'm not as familiar with just because I didn't like it. And then you've got Vanessa in the movie, who is a police officer who is the daughter of William Afton. And so, Vanessa working with Afton, controlled by Afton, because it's implied that Vanessa's scared of her father because he's an abusive father. And, that's why the whole, if he's there, I will have no, be able to do nothing, yada yada thing that she says. So that's why, like I said, I see this as the Scott's perfect telling of his story. Now, with that in mind, where does Garrett come in? What's the parallel with Garrett? Because we have other characters, other parallels. We've got the 5 ghost kids and the 5 kids, all of that. And then we have the 5 kids who are all, the 5 animatronics, but then where's Garrett? Because it just doesn't make sense to me. Because why would William Afton kill another kid but not do anything, not hide him in one of the animatronics? And since Garrett isn't one of the core 5, that being Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy, where is Garrett? That's why I think he's the puppet. But that leads me into my next more out there theory, because I feel my Garrett being the puppet theory, I feel that's fairly certain. And now this one, I need you guys to hear me out on this. I think Mike's dad is Henry. Now, that is purely because it ties into my Garrett being the puppet theory, because if Garrett's our Charlie stand-in, it would make sense because, the father of Charlie was Henry. But another reason behind this is because Mike, when talking to Vanessa, mentions how their mother is dead, but never specifies what happens or what happened to their father. And so this got me thinking, what if their father is Henry? Because that would make sense on why William Afton would go after Garrett. Because what motivation would William Afton have to drive out to a campground that's outside of his normal murder location that is Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria and kidnap this random kid for no reason? I think that William Afton kidnapped Garrett because Garrett is Henry's kid. And that's because Henry was a co-founder of, I'm not saying Freddy Fazbear's, but what if it was Fredbear's Family Diner? That's why Mike doesn't recognize Freddy Fazbear's, because he knew his dad worked and owned a diner, not a pizzeria. And it would also help with, like, times past, since the animatronics have changed. But there's some holes in there. I'll be the first to admit that. I just, I'm having a hard time, like, putting some of these pieces together, and I don't, like, I hope that my ramblings have caused you guys to at least reconsider some things. And I mean, I know that this isn't all that long, but like I said, I didn't intend it to be. This is gonna be unintelligible ramblings with long pauses cut out for your sake. And I don't know. I don't know, guys. So yeah, I think that Mike Garrett's, and I guess Abby's father, and I'll get to Abby in a moment. Hold on. But yeah, their father, I think, is Henry. It's mostly circumstantial evidence, and I'm not as confident on Mike's dad equal Henry as I am Garrett equal Puppet. So Abby, I've got a problem with this kid. I have nothing against Abby herself, but it's just the fact that we never see her in Mike's dream flashback, which to me means that at the time of Garrett's kidnapping, she wasn't born yet. But also, we can notice and tell that Mike's mom very clearly isn't already pregnant with another child. She could be newly pregnant, and that's why. But even then, that would mean that she's giving birth within the next 9 months, assuming that it's new. And you know what? Fine, I'll accept that. But also, I guess, it would make sense that, maybe with the loss of a child, they would want to have another child years later. I guess not necessarily years later, but I mean, you guys get the point. But also, I'm fairly certain that the movie implies that um the mom takes her own life. I don't remember if that's exactly said, but I believe it is, and I don't know why she would give birth to a daughter and then take her own life out of grief for her missing son. But I'm not a parent and I've never lost a child, so who knows? Grief can make people do crazy things. So I can't say that it's out of the realm of possibility, but it just, I don't know, it doesn't sit right with me? So I'm thinking like maybe Abby was adopted? I I don't know. I don't really have any actual theories for Abby. It does just Abby's backstory doesn't sit right with me, and I wonder where it's gonna go in the future. Um, well, that's really all that I really wanted to say. So thank you guys for coming in, checking this out. Um, this was some really unintelligible ramblings as far as I'm concerned. But I hope at least a few of you got something worthwhile out of it, even though this is probably just the most boring video in the world of just me sitting here talking to you with no visuals, because I know my ass ain't gonna edit this to make it look nice, because I am not at all skilled in doing that. But hey, so, you know, thanks for coming by. Thanks for checking this out. I really appreciate y'all. If you enjoyed this and you want to hear me do these unintelligent rants about something, I'd be more than willing to like take movies, games, books, whatever suggestions you want. I will go read, watch, play, whatever, and then come back and do some unintelligible ramblings about my thoughts on it if you guys find that interesting enough. I definitely might end up doing that again at some point, anyways, just because I did kind of enjoy this, just getting my own, what's the word, just like brain trash out, and I don't know, I just like felt a little liberating almost, just be able to just speak freely about something that I know nothing about. And now I don't have to think about it anymore because I've talked about it to someone. So I think I'll probably end up doing this the next time I feel like talking about something and have no one to talk to about it. So, who knows? Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that jazz. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. No promises on what it'll be. All right, guys. See you later.